Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. I'm Dave Palais, Josh Palais, and Mauro Heron, talking Charger football with you, of course, leading into Monday Night Football, and extremely excited about this matchup. I mean, as we get closer and closer, guys, to this game, I can't tell you how excited I am, and I'll get into more reasons as far as why this game has got me more pumped up, I think, than most games in a little bit. But as far as you guys feel, we're about 24 hours out from kickoff. What's your feeling today as we get closer?
I feel really good about it, especially when I see these other teams that I think are contenders against the Chargers drop games. You wonder who's really a good team in the NFL. So I think it's always a good thing for the Chargers when their competition looks like they have as many weaknesses as the Chargers have shown early in the season. I think it's a great sign.
Yeah, I'm pretty fired up. I hate Broncos more by the day, and Sundays are a little bit more boring with no Chargers football on. So very excited for tomorrow night, prime time. Only game on. It's gonna be a good one, and looking forward to seeing Herbert beat the crap out of Russell Wilson.
You know what? For the reason what Josh just said right there is exactly why I'm excited, because as I watch these games on Sunday and I sat there, and guys, I don't think I missed anything. I'm sitting there flipping channels nonstop. I have 2-3 TVs going at one time, and I'm trying to watch everything. And more, I feel more confident about this Chargers team as they head into this game on Monday, because the big question is, who are the dominating teams? For example, the Rams were a team we talked about coming out of the NFC and reaching the Super Bowl, and we're like, man, who's going to beat the Rams? Well, the Rams are a shadow of themselves. Even though they're going to get a win today against Carolina, we know Carolina is one of the worst teams. The Rams' offensive line's a disaster. They have problems with the running back situation where basically they said Cam Akers will never wear a Rams uniform again, and they're in complete disarray. The Buffalo Bills, guys, because we gave them so much credit for facing the Rams in week one, and we're going, oh my gosh, they're far and away better than everybody else. For me, the Buffalo Bills maybe aren't all that. Maybe the Bills aren't what we thought they were. Maybe the Chiefs, who the Chargers almost beat on that Thursday night game in Kansas City, it's a lot closer, I think, than we think when we say who are your top teams in the AFC and the NFC, which gives me confidence for this Charger team as far as going really far this season.
Yeah, there hasn't been a dominating team, even with the Buffalo Bills losing to the Miami Dolphins a few weeks ago, and you watch them today, they're a team that can be beat. Same with the Kansas City Chiefs, the top two teams in the NFL. People are saying the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL as well. I don't see the Eagles.
Anybody.
They haven't played anybody. I don't see the Eagles as a far superior team to my Chargers either. That's why I'm very, very happy about where the Chargers sit currently. If we get a win tomorrow, which we should, I think us as Charger fans should be confident about the outlook for the rest of the season. Because at the end of the day, the Denver Broncos are a win. No matter how bad they are and what they've shown so far, it's still a win on your schedule. Every win is so big. Once we get that one tomorrow, I think we'll be sitting in a good place.
Yeah, like you guys mentioned it, Bills don't look invincible anymore. For a while, a little bit, it looks like they're by far and clear the best team. Chiefs are making Josh Allen get out of the pocket, making him throw bad throws, making him uncomfortable. The Chiefs defense can do that, and that's not, the best defense really in the NFL. I think any defense can. And it's weird right now. Like you said, Dave, I thought the Rams would sprint away with the NFC again.
Yeah.
And I truly have no idea what's going on there. The fact that they're struggling against the Panthers, who are about to have a yard sale for every prospect or every player, everything that they have. I mean, even the front desk ladies might be up for a trade.
It's demanding a trade.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's insane. And it's just crazy to me. Like, we're sitting here week 6, and I can honestly say I have no idea who's a Super Bowl series contender and who's not, and who the Chargers really stand in their way and I'm nervous about and who I'm not. It's a weird point right now, and it's one of the reasons why you got to love every Sunday.
Dude, I absolutely love it. There's so many things that you guys touched on right there. I want to go back to the Philadelphia Eagles first, because they're the only undefeated team. And the Eagles, as we do this show, the kickoff's going to start in a few minutes against the Dallas Cowboys. We all know it's the Sunday night game. I'm going to go through the Eagles schedule for you real quick, guys, because we all know the 72 Miami Dolphins have that dumb tradition where they pop champagne when the last undefeated team loses every year. Okay. It drives me crazy. I don't know what it is. I don't even care if it's the Dolphins. That's the next team that goes undefeated. The fact the 72 Dolphins have all those punks, all those old men, those flat asses sitting there with their champagne. I just want to see someone do it, just because I'm tired of those guys. I don't care if it's Mike Gesicki in the next 50 years that's popping champagne. I'm just tired of Mercury Morse. I'm tired of the whole damn thing. But I remember the Philadelphia Eagles schedule to you. And guys, you tell me where the loss is, because I just called them out and said they haven't played anybody. And I was like, man, that's kind of brave. And then I'm going to go through the rest of the schedule, and I don't know if there's a loss on the schedule. Okay. So
Right.
after the Dallas Cowboys, they host the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have a bye week next week, then they host the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a win, right?
I think it's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win. After that, they go to the Houston Texans.
Win.
That's a win.
Man. Yeah.
Yep.
Washington Commanders at home.
Joke.
Yeah. Barely an NFL team.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the one for Mario, okay, because he's in Indianapolis right now. They play at the Colts on November 20th.
That's Serrani revenge game.
Okay.
I feel pretty comfortable actually back in Serrani. That sounds like a big time. If that gets moved to like a primetime game, take Colts. So that could be
Okay.
a loss.
So that's let me figure this out. Okay, and then I'm looking at this thing. It's a 1:00 start, so it's a Sunday game. All right, so here we go. Green Bay Packers at home. Not sold on the Packers.
Yeah, not sold on the Packers. That's gonna be a great game though.
I mean, Packers just got crushed by the Jets at home today. Right?
That's weird. That's weird.
Okay, again, another team at home that maybe on the road you'd worry about. They have the Tennessee Titans at home.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big time matchup.
I'm gonna set a
Hate game. I love hate
reminder to-
games.
Oh yeah.
I love hate.
Yeah. Throw hate. Right? I mean, the guy has gone nonstop talking about, I can't believe the Titans traded me away.
Yeah.
All right, let me finish this out real quick. A few more. At the Giants, which would be interesting because the Giants are one of those shocking teams. Daniel Jones stinks. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
What the
He's
hell's
terrible.
going on? Has the earth fallen off its axis? How's this happened?
Dude, the amount of like bad quarterbacks that won today is absurd.
Yeah.
Actually absurd. Yeah.
I mean, this is one where you go, Brian Dable's a genius, right? As far as the head coach of the Giants goes. Just like you guys are giving so much credit last week to Pete Carroll, Geno Smith all of a sudden is like the NFL passing leader in yards. And, Geno Smith couldn't hit his neighbor across the street 2 years ago at the mailbox. Like, what the hell happened here? What's going on? All right, here we go. 4 more games. You guys tell me where the loss is. At the Chicago Bears.
It's a win.
It's a win.
December 18th. Mario, you think it's a win?
Oh, unbelievable win. At that point,
Okay.
the Bears are just tanking for Bryce Young.
All right, at the Dallas Cowboys again on Christmas Eve.
That sounds
We'll see
like
what happens tonight.
Yeah.
But you're gonna after this,
Yeah.
you're gonna go, okay. That might be the one where we're going, okay, here comes the loss. And the last 2 games at home against the Saints and at home against the Giants. I mean, dude, guys, this team could go 17-0.
You really think they could though? That team's not
I-
that great.
I think they're okay. If you're Vegas, this is what I always say, and I'm not a big gambler. I'm not a degenerate like Mario over there. I'm just teasing you, Mario. All right. Well, here's what I would say: is Vegas isn't in the market of losing money, right?
Yeah.
Is there a game on here that the Eagles aren't going to be favored in? They're going to be favored in every one.
You think at the Giants, if the Giants keep winning?
I do, because my feeling is which team's going to have the better record. I think it's going to be the Eagles at that point. And also, I think, as you guys know, you guys aren't dumb guys. You compare the quarterbacks. Who's the better quarterback, Jalen or Daniel Jones? You're going to go
Jalen,
with
for
the
sure.
quarterback.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a game on the schedule that Vegas says Vegas doesn't say the Eagles are favored the rest of the way. I don't know if they're a Super Bowl team, but I
Yeah.
think their schedule is really beneficial to them.
It's interesting. Do you think the Eagles are actually the best team in the NFC?
Oh, in the NFC, maybe. I don't know. What
The
do you think,
NFC is so damn weak, right? The Bucks
Yeah.
losing today, it's just a weird thing. I don't know.
What do you think, Mario? Who? Go ahead. Give me the best 3 teams in the NFC.
So when I texted you guys earlier saying, is there a good team in the NFC? I went through the power rankings we go through. I took like the top 5 that they had in the NFC, and looking at them, every single one of them just makes me want to throw up, thinking that I'm saying like they would take the NFC, because it's like the Buccaneers. What are we doing? We just lost to the Steelers after the Bills just put a whomping on them. Like, that's technically the best team in the AFC. So you're the best team in the NFC. Technically, you should put a whomping on them. They suck. Tom Brady's too busy going to weddings and not studying the game plan. We have the Niners.
Hold on. Stop for a second. Josh, are you aware of what he just said? I don't know if you caught all the games like we were watching. Tom
Is that
Brady.
Robert-
He missed the walkthrough last night for Robert Kraft's wedding.
That's unlike Tom Brady to do. It's strange, right? He seems like he's so locked in on winning. Why would he do that, right?
Here's the biggest story. Bigger story. Who was Tom Brady's +1? Who do you
Rob
take?
Gronkowski. That's a good question, though.
That is a crazy story. That's not acceptable
Mm.
for any player in the NFL. Only Tom Brady could get away with that, right?
Well, Bruce Arians
Yeah.
would have never let that happen, right?
There's
I
not a
don't think
player
so.
on his team. I don't care if you're the GOAT, man. Nobody's okay with that. The starting
No.
quarterback misses a walkthrough.
Yeah, no.
That's ridiculous.
You can't be doing that.
Especially when you're not at like a very comfortable spot. Like it's not like
Yeah.
you're 5-0. You're 3-2, and you should be
No,
5-0.
yeah, you've been a disappointment.
Yeah.
You have not looked like what people thought you were going to look like. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just think that's a huge story that Tom Brady all of a sudden in football's not first.
It's strange, man. Like I said, Tom Brady's always been the guy that's put everything. He's actually, people think he's getting a divorce because he has put football first. So him missing the walkthrough because of Robert Kraft's wedding, we don't even know what the relationship is like. The way it ended, it's just really weird. I don't know if Tom Brady's like in a great place mentally. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Different.
Real sweet love story too of the wife being 30 years younger. Crazy how that works. The other team. So
hold on, Josh and I saw her. Remember, we saw her a
Really?
few years ago, Josh. Yeah, we saw her after a Charger game. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, not to comment on people's private business, but it was surprising because it didn't feel like it's always one of those things as we get away from football a little bit. It's like if someone's spouse passes away, how long do you wait, right? Because remember, there's a
Yeah.
whole big thing about all these players and how much they love Robert Kraft's wife. And next thing you know, he had the trophy girlfriend super fast. And Josh and I saw them in the hallway. Remember, we saw Belichick and his girl, and we saw Robert Kraft and his girl. And
Yeah.
you're going, and then the old saying is, I don't know, where did you guys meet? Well, I just opened my wallet and there she was. Good for him. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, it is always weird, right? When it doesn't matter the age, but like, how long are you supposed to wait? What do people think? I don't think Robert Kraft cares.
How long are you supposed to wait? You're the oldest one here.
Oh yeah. That's a Curb Your
Well, dude,
Enthusiasm episode.
It is. Well,
That's
since
what
I'm
that
still
is.
married, you never get remarried. That's what you say. It's
Yeah.
I'm never getting remarried since I've been married 30 years. So that's where I'm at.
So I'm thinking I get my third wife around 50.
Dude, I told my wife when we got married, I go, you're the first wife, right? Like I never get anything right the first time. Like you're the first one. I always screw up the first time and everything. Sure enough, we've lasted. How about that? Yeah, I don't know the right answer. I'm not answering that question. My wife's still alive, but I'm still married. I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, tweet at us your answers. So top three NFC teams. So if I had to really look at it, I think Niners I have no faith in. Vikings, my sole reason of not wanting to go with the Vikings is purely because of Kirk Cousins. Cowboys, I really want to stay away from because of Big Man McCarthy on the sideline. Love him though. God bless the man. I think I'd have to go Eagles. I'm gonna go Giants. This is terrible. And I think my third, I hate to say it, I really, really do, but he's gonna bounce back and he's gonna bounce back really hard. And when it happens, it's gonna shake the NFL. I guess it's gotta be Green Bay Packers. Because the second that Aaron Rodgers actually bounces back, the second that he figures out, because they always do, that second is gonna be insane. The next thing you know, they're the NFC Championship. And plus, we don't know what kind of mental journey Aaron Rodgers is going to go on in between that time. So I think that's my top three right now. That's a very bad top three. I will say very bold and probably not going to work out, but that's my top three. How are we feeling on it? Please rip it apart.
I don't mind your top three. The fact that you have the two NFC East teams, number 1 and 2, is absurd because we always say
Yeah.
the NFC East is like the worst division in the whole NFL. My top three would be the Philadelphia Eagles, number 1. They have to be, right? I'm going to say the LA Rams, number 2, because I feel like they just have so much talent. Like, how are they not winning more games, right? If they figure it out. And then I'll go Green Bay Packers, number 3. I hate some things about the Packers. They seem kind of smug to me. But if Aaron Rodgers figures it out like he always does, I'll go Packers, number 3 as well.
Boy, it's funny how all of us are a lot different because we all had the same 3 in the AFC. We all had the Bills, Chiefs, Chargers in the AFC. For me, I had the top 3 teams in no particular order, but just my feeling as far as balance. I have San Francisco, which I don't understand their record. I think San Francisco's. I I look at offensive, defensive line. I look at can you pass and can you run. Debo Samuel is such an amazing weapon, I think, for the Niners that he's just so tough to prepare for. I don't know why the Niners get so up for the Rams and look so good against the Rams, but then struggle against teams like the Bears and the Jets, not the Jets, the Falcons. And you just go, what the hell are we watching? Is this the same team? How does this happen? I like the Niners. I like the Vikings. I like the Eagles. No order in particular, but I think those three teams are the best teams. And the reason is just for I said, do you have the offensive line, defensive line, a quarterback that can throw, a team that can run? And that's one thing the Vikings have. I mean, the Vikings for me are that team that I thought they would be this years ago. Mike Zimmer wasn't the right guy. Again, defensive coach compared to having an offensive coach. The Vikings are now 5-1. Nice one on the road today against the Miami Dolphins. But Kirk Cousins, the thing that holds them back, is, and Mario, I know you watch that division a lot, is Kirk Cousins stinks in big games, right? He's been his whole career. Anytime the lights are on and it's a national TV audience and it's an important game, Kirk Cousins seems to fall apart.
All right, so you brought up the Eagles schedule, right? I'm going to read you the Vikings schedule. It's very similar to what the Eagles have done. Today was the first one they've had that was more than one score, okay? They beat the Dolphins without Tua. They beat the Bears, which are horrible, right, Mario? They beat the Saints. They beat the Lions. They lost to the Eagles, and then they had a good win today against the Packers. I don't think they've really done much. I probably would agree with you. They're probably a top 3 team in the NFC, but you can't tell me you trust Kirk Cousins like you said. And then Jimmy Garoppolo with the Niners. You always talk about how important the quarterback is. I don't know if those teams have quarterbacks you can rely on, right?
I mean, I think it's more of two, like for me and the Niners, it's like, what's Kyle Shanahan going to whip up in the playoffs? Like year after year, we see like these master game plans where like somehow he just forms his team to the perfect team that can just win. And it's just not the prettiest fashion, but they win. And you're sitting here going, how is Jimmy G in another NFC championship? How is Jimmy G getting another playoff win? So I do agree with you on that part. I just don't know if in my opinion, I just don't know if the Niners have it this year. I just really don't. But I've been proven wrong by the Niners so many times, including I wrote an article one time saying that Shanahan was one of the most overrated coaches, and I got a quick delete from the personal website. Hey, got to own up to your mistakes sometimes. But yeah, the Vikings, it's I've seen him a lot, and just the Kirk Cousins is when he's on, man, he's on. But when he's off, it's train wreck. But I love him though. He's awesome. I love guys like that.
It's funny. The teams that like I named, you're right. There aren't those elite quarterbacks. I mean, who would, Garoppolo has a pretty good winning percentage. I mean, we just go, wow, all he does is win. I mean, it's pretty impressive. The Niners, though, weren't sold on him enough that they're really to make the move and get rid of him. But he wins. Jalen's one of those guys, and Josh has known Jalen since he was 17 years old. And Jalen is one of those guys that keeps winning, and he's a major weapon. And, Josh will tell you weightlifting stories, the way he used to work out when he was 17 and was one of the strongest guys in the room. He doesn't get hurt. A lot of these quarterbacks you worry about, knock on wood, that hey, they're going to get hurt. Jalen is so strong, especially in the lower body. Man, he takes a beating over and over again. I don't know if there's a quarterback in the NFL that can do what he does. And I know Kyler Murray, man, is strong and is short and everything. Jalen's just different. I mean, he's a power lifter. And I'm never worried when Jalen runs the ball that, man, if he goes out, there goes the Eagles season. It doesn't feel that way with the Eagles. Actually, the more he runs, the better the Eagles seem to be.
I mean, you've watched Jalen for a long time, Dave. When you watch Jalen now, do you think he's progressed enough as a passer to take the Eagles to a Super Bowl?
Surprisingly, yes. Like I did not see that. I mean, Josh, you were there in the quarterback rooms with him. You were there at practice with him. And here's one thing that I always remember you telling me about Jalen when you were at Alabama. And this is before Tua even got there. This is when Jalen was a freshman. Jalen said to you his goals were to win a national championship, to win a Heisman Trophy, and then to become a high school coach. Like he never even told Josh that I'm going to play in the NFL. He basically told Josh, I know I'm not an NFL quarterback, and that he was going to be a high school coach like his dad. And sure enough, man, his talents have taken him to the NFL, and he's now in his third year and has the only undefeated team in the NFL. So really, I think he probably even surprised himself.
Yeah, I think Jalen has one of the best stories in the NFL coming into Alabama as not a highly rated quarterback, winning the job as a true freshman, first true freshman to ever start for Alabama. Goes to Oklahoma because Tua beats him out, then goes to the Eagles. It's just like this crazy story with Jalen. I think he deserves all of it, man. I know Jalen personally. He's a super hard worker, very smart. But like Dave said, he never even said he wanted to play in the NFL. Everything he's done so far to me is so amazing. Like watching this guy throw. They say he works with Tom House now, who people may not know works with pitchers. He also works with Tom Brady as well. But Jalen's progression as a quarterback, the way he throws the ball now, I think the Eagles are definitely a threat to make it to the Super Bowl. I would never said that when he was a rookie. I didn't know if he could throw like he does now. But I'm super proud of the way he's progressed.
I think also it's a huge shout out to the Eagles organization and what they built around them. You know, went and got Devontae Smith, quality wideout from Bama. Then they went and got AJ Brown. They surrounded him with weapons. Go, hey, we're going to build up your confidence by giving you people to throw to that you can count on when you need to. And it's just also so hard not to like Jalen Hurts. I mean, guy's been in toughest situations. You know, he gets benched by Tua, and everything you heard on the sideline during that game was him clapping, him cheering for his team. Like he didn't, you know, pout. No, he wasn't really about that. Goes to the Eagles where Carson Wentz is a jerk to him, ends up taking his spot. That's beautiful. Everyone loves that. But even when that was happening, all the teammates were saying, like, Jalen Hurts is a great guy, great teammate, hard worker, good leader. So definitely a story that's just like, you got to help but cheer for it. And then like Philly, you know, is going to love him. They're going to attach themselves to him more than Rocky Balboa, and he was a fictional character. So like, I think it's just good for Jalen. I love to see it. And anything to get a city like Philly wild up, I'm all for.
Boy, I tell you, it's not bad to be a Philadelphia sports fan right now, right? I mean, your Phillies are trying to make a run for the World Series. The Eagles are undefeated. It's kind of crazy what's going on in Philadelphia. 76ers get started this week. They got a really good team. It's not a bad time to be a Philadelphia sports fan at all. You know, one thing I noticed today watching games, and kind of was thinking about you guys and going, I wonder what they think when I see this. You know, the NFL's the highest level of football. And you always think there's certain guys in certain sports, like you're better than even this level, right? In baseball, like Mike Trout's better than this level, you know, and in basketball, there are guys that are better than this level if there's a level above the NBA. But for me, I was watching a ton of games today, and there's some guys that stand out. You just go, man, they're almost too good for the NFL. Like there's no match on what they do. You know, and tell me, I came up with it with a few guys. You guys tell me if I'm wrong or anybody you can add to that list. All right.
Okay.
Aaron Donald's a freak, right? We all know Aaron Donald's just like we're literally watching the best to ever do it, and probably in our lifetime at his position. You know, I'm looking at Cooper Kupp, who's all banged up with a bad foot and everything, and every time he catches the ball, and every team knows he's going to get the ball, he always seems to get 10 yards. He's the best after the catch receiver I think I've ever seen. You know, he's tough as nails. Deebo Samuel's a freak as well. And I sit there and I go, man, some of these guys just amaze me over and over again. And I know we bring up his name every week, and it drives me crazy because he's on the team I can't stand the most. It's Travis Kelce. I mean, I'm watching the Bills who know the ball's going to Kelce and still have a tough time holding Kelce back.
It's amazing when people know you're going to get the ball, you still can't stop them. Cooper Kupp and Travis Kelce are great examples you brought up. The NFL does look too easy for those guys, which is the craziest crap in the world. All three of those guys have something in common. They weren't highly recruited out of high school either. I just always blows my mind how these guys, it wasn't seen that they were that good, and then they're too good for the NFL. It's absolutely amazing. There's a few guys you could add to that list, obviously. Trent Williams for the 49ers. It looks like it's too easy for him. I'm trying to think of guys on defense. I would usually say Jalen Ramsey, but he's been exposed this year. Dude, sometimes Derwin James, I think it looks a little bit too easy for him too. When you watch the Chargers, it looks like there's 3 Derwin James out there. Like, bro, how are you everywhere all the time? Kenneth Murray's like, there's half of me out here. Like, what's going on? But but you're totally right, man. It's crazy when you're that good that the best players in the world look like they can't play on your level.
I'll go a rookie for you that just really kind of stood out to me today and was like, this guy's just on a completely different level. Sauce Gardner. That guy is a beast. Yeah. I forget. I'm gonna have to. I think it was Lazard. Yeah, Lazard beats him on an inside route, and I think it was runs a dig. And the ability that Gardner has to he gets beat and then recover is so unbelievably fast. And the fact that like the pass wasn't thrown behind him, like he was led and he just tracked him down, was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. I'm impressed with him. I was in awe watching him all day today, especially doing that against Aaron Rodgers. And then the cheese head on top of that was just beautiful. Love that. You know, make him cry more, buddy. I love everything part of that. And then anytime you watch Aaron Donald, it's just like, I can't believe that's a human being. I can't believe like you're like weren't made in a lab, because you're just one of the most insane human beings, one of the most insane athletes I've ever seen. And just Travis Kelce is just so freaking annoying. I can't stand him. Josh Allen does that for me too. Watching him play, just him just doing the weirdest things in the pocket, and then he needs to stop taking so many hits though.
That's
That
what I was
gives me
going
a
to ask
heart
you.
attack.
Do you worry about Josh Allen? I mean, is there a player in the NFL that's asked to do more week by week than Josh Allen?
Lamar Jackson, right?
And so yeah, but they have a running game. The Bills really don't have a running game outside of Josh Allen.
That's true. I feel like Lamar Jackson's a huge part of the running game. Like he's getting his butt kicked. Do I feel like that when I watch Jalen and the Eagles? I'm like, dude, Jalen is taking hits. But as you mentioned, he never gets hurt. Neither did Josh Allen. Really doesn't get hurt either. But yeah, it doesn't last. We all know it. This game.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
Yeah.
last. I mean, here's the deal. You go back to 2017, okay, and people go, "What are you talking about?" I'll tell you what I'm getting to, and you guys tell me if you remember. Carson Wentz, when he was quarterback of the Eagles, the year actually they ended up winning the Super Bowl, but Carson Wentz was hands down the MVP favorite that year.
100%.
And then he gets hurt against the Rams at the LA Coliseum, and everyone's going, "Oh no, what happens to our team?" Well, Carson Wentz not only does he not win MVP, he doesn't get to play quarterback in the Super Bowl. He's been a shadow of himself since. It's hard to believe those are still the same guys. The Carson Wentz in 2017 compared to the Carson Wentz in 2022.
That's such a real thing. Quarterbacks getting hit, and then they're just not the same player. Did you guys see the clip of Joe Burrow this week at the press conference?
No, I didn't catch it.
I think people made too big of a deal about it, but he's doing a press conference this week, and one of the reporters sneezes or coughs, and he jumps out of his chair, and they're like, "Dude, Joe Burrow is getting sacked so much. This guy's scared of everything." But I think it's obviously a joke, but it's such a real thing though, dude. Like if you keep getting hit, like you're just not going to be the same player. Look at Cam Newton, dude. Literally took too many hits. Just was not the same guy. Look at RG3. He thought he could do the same thing he did at Baylor. He just kind of never got his NFL career started. I'd be concerned, man. That's why when I see Justin Herbert roll out of the pocket, I hold my breath. Please just don't take a big hit because it just doesn't last in the NFL.
Yeah, and the thing too that scares me about Josh Allen, less than Lamar Jackson, is Lamar Jackson's so quick and he's so fast. His main goal is not to go through you. That's just not what he's gonna do. He's gonna go out, likes to run to the outside. Josh Allen does the Cam Newton where I'm gonna go through you, and it's like we're not in high school football. Let's not do that. Like there was a play today where he's running along the sideline. Safety's coming in hot. Dude, just go out of bounds. He decides to stop, turns his back, and takes the hit. I'm like, that's your back. I have anything that hurt. Like, that's your back. That stuff worries me, man. The hits pile up, and it's scary because you do want to see these quarterbacks go as long as possible and be at their peak for as long as possible because they are so fun to watch. But it is kind of like a scary moment. Like, are you realizing how many hits are piling up and the history that follows with Cam Newton, with RG3, with even Michael Vick? Like, are you seeing the history and where this can lead to? I don't care how awesome medicine is. Hit from Aaron Donald's gonna leave a mark.
Another guy left off the list, and I know there's a huge fan base, so I love communicating with people on Twitter. Just don't drill me for missing it. But Micah Parsons for the Cowboys is insane. He's a freak. I mean, he's only in his second year, and man, the Cowboys are winning games because of that defense and not turning the ball over, which to me has been a huge surprise in the NFL. We didn't even name the Cowboys as one of the top 3 teams in the NFC, and I'm not sure how good the Cowboys are, but boy, is that defense impressive, and it all starts with number 11 for them. He's amazing.
Can you name a young defensive player besides Micah Parsons, maybe Aaron Donald, who's been this dominant so early in his career? I don't know if I can, dude. Like Micah Parsons is a freaking freak. The guy might be the best defensive player in the NFL already. Last year, he had a case for being the best defensive player in the NFL as a rookie. I can't think of a defensive guy that made this much of an impact this early in his career. Luke Kuechly, I don't even think he did it like this.
Luke Kuechly was so consistent. All right. Yeah. He was so good and consistent every single year. I got a guy for you that started his career crazy strong, like Micah Parsons, but things changed. And it was either because defenses or offenses figured out a way to keep him under control or his work ethic changed. But Javon Curse, this is when you guys were little kids. Yeah. Javon Curse, I mean, he had the nickname The Freak for Tennessee, was like, oh my God, this kid's absolutely amazing. And then he fizzled out really fast. For me, aging myself a little bit, the only guy I can think of, Josh, is Lawrence Taylor. Taylor and the Giants was a freak. But again, this is way before you guys were even born. And, he's a Hall of Famer, and you guys have seen highlights of him. But for me in my lifetime, the best defensive players I've ever seen were Lawrence Taylor, Derek Thomas, Reggie White. those guys were absolutely amazing. I think we're looking at that kind of guy in Micah Parsons. Like, maybe we're looking at a future Hall of Famer.
What do you think about Ray Lewis? Ray Lewis, a young Ray Lewis compared to, I mean, Micah Parsons is more of a hybrid linebacker. He's getting to the quarterback more, dropping into coverage. But what do you think?
Ray Lewis would be interesting. If Ray Lewis played the game today, is he the same guy? Because when Ray Lewis played, a lot more teams were still run first. Now the only teams that are really run first are the Colts and the Titans when their guys are healthy. I don't know if Ray Lewis is the same guy, and not to take anything away from him and his Hall of Fame career and what he did for the Ravens, but it's a lot different being a middle linebacker today than it was when Ray Lewis played at his prime 20 years ago.
I mean, it's crazy. Like a guy like Ray Lewis would kind of struggle in today. Like, remember when his name's Shaq Leonard now, but when Shaq Leonard was coming up, they're like, yeah, he's like a little too small. Like, I remember a lot of culture writers, like, he's not too small. He's gonna get bodied, in the NFL. And you're like, actually, this is like the preferred type now for a linebacker. We want you a little skinny. We want you a little bit more mobile. We want you long. We want this. So it'd be interesting to see like a guy like Ray Lewis or, I'll throw like Urlacher in there, like what they would be able to do right now. But Micah Parsons is just unbelievable. I have a Penn State friend that said he was going to be the next Lawrence Taylor, and I was like, "I shut up." But now I block his number and don't have to deal with it anymore.
What's interesting? You brought up something funny about body types. Like if you look at the old NFL films, like back in the day when they first started, and you realize the size of these guys aren't big. You're looking at guys who are 5'11", 6 feet, defensive ends that are 180 pounds. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you're talking punter size. And then guys got to be huge. And let's be honest, back in the late 70s, early 80s, guys were juicing like crazy. There were no tests for steroids, but those guys were freaks. I honestly believe it changed as far as speed was more important than strength was the Super Bowl where the 49ers faced the Chargers back in 95 Super Bowl 94 season. And the Niners were the opposite size of the Chargers. The Chargers still had these big, giant guys, and the Niners had these skinnier guys, but they were quicker, and they whipped the Chargers. I mean, just smoked them. And you sit there and you're going, what did the Niners do? And all of a sudden, teams started going that route. What you're seeing a lot, though, in the last 4 or 5 years is cornerbacks who used to be 5'8", 5'9", are now they don't want cornerbacks unless you're 5'11" and long, kind of like what Josh just mentioned in Jalen Ramsey. The long arms, being able to knock the ball away. The short corners are disappearing very quickly, and they want length and speed is what they want. They really don't care about, the body size anymore.
I love this conversation, dude, because everybody has a different opinion. I'll throw it your way, Mario. If you were starting an NFL team and you couldn't pick a quarterback, okay, everybody's going to go quarterback. Which player would you start your team with?
I can't go quarterback.
You can't go quarterback.
So first thing I'd do is I'd probably look towards edge rusher or wide out. So wide out can just make any quarterback look good. First, Wyatt's getting a little too young for. I'd love to say Donald, but that'd be way past age currently. So I think I'd have to go. Yeah, way too old. So I think I'd go, honestly. God, this is such a hard one. Honestly, I'd go Myles Garrett. I'd go Myles Garrett.
That's who you start your team with. Okay. What about you, Dave? Who do you start your team with?
I tell you, I think I'm going. Boy, in my head, I'm going either Debo or Cooper Kupp. I'm going Cooper Kupp.
Wait, hold on a second. You start a team with Debo?
Yeah, Debo gives you both running and receiving.
I'm not saying you're crazy.
2 for 1. Don't ask the question unless you want the answer. I mean, God dang, I didn't realize you're getting slammed.
It sounds like your wife. Don't yell at me.
You're gonna give me PTSD. I'm afraid to answer the next question.
Okay, people think Debo, and I think Debo's a hell of a player. People say he's really just good because of the system he's in. Same thing with Cooper Kupp, but they're just great players. Correct?
They are great players. Yeah. I don't know how you stop them. I'm like, if I was a defensive coordinator, I don't even know what the game plan is to stop those guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. If I had to start a team with anybody that wasn't a quarterback, I go Micah Parsons. I think he just sits around the middle of the defense and completely changes the game. I don't get how he gets so many sacks at the position he plays. Like, how does he do that? I don't know. Yeah, he's one of those freaks.
So years ago when I first got into sports radio, we asked every GM if you had to start a team with one guy. Same question you just asked, Josh. Yeah. And they all had the same 2 guys. And they were all left tackles, okay? They all had Jonathan Ogden, Hall of Famer, with the Baltimore Ravens. And if it wasn't Jonathan Ogden, they took Tony Baselli, left tackle for Jacksonville. which is funny because one was a UCLA guy, one was a USC guy. For people not in Southern California, that's a big rivalry. And so those guys were on the field, we're not at the same time. But Jonathan Ogden might be the biggest football player I've ever seen in my life. Like when you see him at the Super Bowl walking around the convention center, it's like, oh my God, you can't miss Jonathan Ogden. He was just a monster of a man. But they all picked those two guys. They never, and the quarterback wasn't like what you said. Quarterbacks are off the table. You have to start franchise with one guy, and they every GM in the NFL picked those two guys.
Do you think anybody would start a team with Rashawn Slater?
I think that's a great call. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't
I mean, I would. Besides, I mean, you can't pick Justin Herbert. I think he's the most valuable player on the Chargers, especially with the age. He's super young. Him or Tristan Wirfs, who I'd start a team with, I guess.
Tristan Wirfs
makes more
awesome.
sense. Yeah. He's great. Okay, let me ask you a question, Mario. Who's the most overrated player in the NFL?
Oh, most overrated player in the NFL. God, all right.
You got one, Dave?
I got mine. You want to talk
about
it, Mario?
Go, you go first, Dave. I gotta think through. I gotta look through some rosters real quick. I'm gonna be thinking. I'm gonna be looking through.
Okay, to me, it's not even close. It's Dak Prescott.
Ooh,
it's Dak.
Yeah,
Dak wins like 51% of his games.
Okay, why do you think people? I don't think people think he's like top 5.
No, Dak Prescott though gets paid like he's a top 7 quarterback. Okay,
that's true.
The Dallas Cowboys are the Dallas Cowboys, and because Dak is on the Cowboys is why he gets so much publicity and gets national commercials. I mean, god dang, he hasn't played in 5 weeks. He does direct TV commercials every 5 minutes on television, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Dak gets those deals because it's the Dallas Cowboys. And look, nothing. I've been watching Dak since Mississippi State. I'm sorry, but if Dak played for the even a big media market like the Jets, Dak isn't Dak. If Dak played for the Browns, people wouldn't be saying Dak wouldn't be getting those commercials. He's not that good. He's not that good. People are going to go, what do you mean Baker Mayfield got commercials? Look, I'm telling you, I think Dak at whatever $50 million a year is insane.
I agree with you. Dak is overrated. Who you got, Mario? You got an answer yet?
This is so hard. So like just out of pure hatred, I wanted.
We love the best.
Yeah, I really wanted to say Rodgers right away because my first thought was, what's his record though? Like record in the playoffs. What's his record that he's done throughout his career, and how do they compare? Because he's going to be compared to Manny. He's going to be compared to Tom. How is he really compared to all that? So, I've hatred. That was my first one.
You aren't really exactly wrong. When the games matter the most, he falls apart.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. So that was one that kind of stuck out to me right away. Shoot, I would probably honestly go for my one that's completely just a little overhyped than I think he should get is probably Mike Evans, which is kind of a random one.
Really?
But like, yeah,
I think if you look at his numbers, you're going to take that back. You're going to realize Mike Evans is better than you think.
Well, I'm going off the top of the dome here.
Okay,
right
yeah.
I'm not saying, hey, off the top of the dome, the takes from Mario aren't the best. I'm not going to lie to you. I need a little research. So, but I'm just going based off fantasy numbers for what I've had. And sometimes I watch games where I'm like, you're not really taking advantage of your matchup. And sometimes I'm like, is Brady throwing you more open than you really are open? And how many times am I really going to rely on you? Plus, I think about the mental mistakes he has in games, the times when he just, barely does a personal foul call, personal foul. Like, why are you doing that? We don't really need this right now. So in that term, that's like pops in my head right away. But I'm just gonna stick with Aaron Rodgers because screw him. Yeah.
All right. My answer is the same thing for Dave. Same thing Dave said. Kyler Murray, dude. He makes $46.1 million a year. Where are the wins at, bro? Like he's just not an impact player the way people thought he was going to be, right?
Yeah, and it became a distraction this past summer when he basically wiped his Instagram clean. It became a huge story. Like, what? You aren't an employee of the Cardinals? You don't want to be teammates with these guys anymore? I'm with you. Kyler Murray frustrates the hell out of me. Like, I'm so into the team thing. It's one of the reasons why I love the NFL, because if one guy messes up out of those 11, the whole play is broken. Mm-hmm. And we're talking the ultimate team game. You're the leader of the Arizona Cardinals, a full NFL franchise. And now you're telling your teammates, ownership, everybody, I am no longer a member of the Cardinals, even though you're under contract because you don't like how much you're getting paid. That's all private stuff, man. To sit there and wipe it clean and make that a huge story is all about me. Red light Kyler drives me nuts.
I think you lose a lot of respect from your teammates too when you do stuff like that. Like you say, you're the quarterback, bro. You can't just wipe your Instagram clean. You are the Arizona Cardinals. When people think of the Arizona Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins is amazing. They're thinking about Kyler Murray. He's the third highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He's also in last place in his division, and he falls apart at the end of every season. You can't tell me Kyler Murray should be paid $46.1 million a year. The dude's playing Call of Duty for 5 hours a day, bro. You can't, you got to win some games, man. Honestly, when I watch him play quarterback, I'm like, how can he see? I think the same thing when I watch Tua. Anytime they complete a pass, it like blows my mind. How the hell can they see the receivers?
I bet they can't.
I bet. Well,
Tua has admitted to it.
Yeah.
Tua's admitted he has a hard time seeing over the line. Kyler will never admit that.
He will never admit it. People would also say that Kyler Murray is the best high school player in Texas history, which is nuts. But I think Kyler Murray is the most overrated player. Who's the most underrated player, Mario? Do you have a player off the top of your list?
Okay, now I just thought that's my most overrated player because I said on this last year and this really angered me a lot. So I finally got one. This is a good one. It's not going to get me a lot of heat coming back. Mac Jones, to me, very overrated. Very, very, very overrated. I think he got a lot of love last year in his rookie year for the sole fact that every other rookie QB wasn't playing very good. That every single other one of them were in bad situations and didn't play very well. So I think he got a little too much excitement and a little too much hype because it's like compared to everyone else, you're playing good. But if you compare it to other good quarterbacks in the league, you're not playing good at all. I think you're in too good of a system with Bill Belichick and you're kind of lucking out in it. And I think you're kind of seeing that now with Zappy coming in here and playing 10 times better than winning football games. Mac Jones is my little bit of an overrated player. So we'll sit with that one, folks. Sit with that one and we'll let serenade. Because I don't think it's serenading very well. Almost underrated. You go first, Dave.
Underrated player, man. That's a tough one. Hold on. I got to be honest with you. God dang. I'm drawing a blank because he just changed his name to Shaquille, your linebacker. Yeah, Darius Leonard doesn't get as much publicity as he deserves. I think Darius Leonard's one of the best players in the NFL. I think he's insane. I think it's because Indianapolis, the Colts, play in a smaller market, and we don't see the Colts as much as some of the other teams. Every time I see him play, I love watching him play. Like he's worth to me turning the TV on just to watch him play. He's that good.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. Do you have one on top of your list, Mario, that you can think of?
I don't think Nick Chubb gets a lot of attention that he deserves. I think when we talk about when we talk about running backs, people are quick to go to Derrick Henry. People are quick to go to Jonathan Taylor, especially in these preseason offensive rookie of the year. I'm sitting here going, what about Nick Chubb? That guy keeps going. That guy's an engine that never stops, and he doesn't get the attention. He doesn't get the pride that he deserves. He's probably the best running back in the league right now by far. He doesn't get his flowers when it comes to anything like that. And I mean, I would take him over Jonathan Taylor right now, and I'd sure as hell take him over Derrick Henry right now.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you on that. I think I'm going to say something that people are going to say, "What the hell you mean underrated?" I really think this guy's underrated. I think he's the best at his position. Him or Derwin James. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is extremely underrated for how much he does for the Steelers. When he got traded from the Dolphins to Pittsburgh, he completely changed that team. People want to say that T.J. Watt is the difference maker, which he is a huge part of that defense. But dude, Minkah Fitzpatrick completely flipped around that whole franchise. Minkah Fitzpatrick, in my opinion, I know I'm an Alabama guy, but he does not get enough credit for how good he is and how many different ways he changes the game as well.
It's not a bad call. I know Pittsburgh feels the same way. That's why they paid him a ton of money. But at the same time, us talking Chargers, as much as we're tuned into Derwin James, I don't think the National Football fans know how good Derwin James is. And I think it's because you don't see the Chargers a lot on big games. I mean, come on, they need to make the postseason. Derwin James plays like Derwin James in the playoffs. Get him 2 or 3 games. The national fan base will understand how good he actually is. I mean, anyone who will watch Derwin James through a few games makes it look like he's in the offensive huddle. Like he knows where the ball's going every single time. He's just amazing. His football IQ is insane. Plus, he's a great athlete.
Yeah, Derwin James is not. I think anybody on the Chargers, man, even Justin Herbert to some degree.
You're right.
People don't talk about how great he is. It's funny that Joey Bosa, you think, is a little bit overrated when he plays for the Chargers. I wonder if it's his last name. He played at Ohio State. He has a brother that's great. But you actually think that Joey Bosa is overrated, which makes me laugh every time you say that.
Yeah, I do. I do think he's overrated. I do. Thank God I didn't say that right away. But you're right. He's in my top 5 overrated.
I don't hate it.
And almost I'd be honest, at the outside of Devontae Adams, everybody on the Raiders is overrated. And Max Crosby is to me the only legit player the Raiders. Devontae Adams and Max Crosby are the only legit players on that whole entire team. I think the entire team's is underachieved.
Do you remember how much Hard Knocks amped up Jonathan Abraham?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
You would have thought that he was Jesus coming back down to earth, like the way they hyped him up. And then he's just like, dude, if in pass coverage he's brutal. Yeah, he can come down hard and give you a good pop, but pass coverage he's piss poor. Like that, I agree with you. The Raiders, it's a lot of overreaction, overrated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right. I know we're almost to the end, but I'm kind of curious. It's Sunday as we're doing the show and we're getting ready for tomorrow's game. How did we do on our picks today, Mario? Do you have it in front of you still?
Okay. Yes, I have it in front of me. I just updated. So for people that don't know, Buffalo pulled it out 24-20. They ended up winning. Cardinals got the crap beat out of them once again. Kyler Murray overrated. So Dave, you made a starting comeback. You're 6. You went 6-6. Josh, you had 6-6.
This isn't even gambling with the line. This is just picking winners.
That's embarrassing.
That's good.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, but your goal is to be above 50%. Like that's good.
But when I made my picks, I'm like, dude, I'm the smartest guy alive. I mean, just picking winners. Now I'm like, geez, I'm dumb. Yeah.
So yeah, she guys went 6-6, and then I went 10-2. I
Dude,
lucked out a little bit. Yeah,
nice.
I lucked out. Yeah.
Who did he lose to? Now I want to know which games he lost.
Tampa Bay.
That's
Wait,
ridiculous.
my math's wrong. Shoot, my math's wrong. Good thing I didn't cuss. 7-3. I forgot.
Okay,
I
Still
got
really good.
Yeah,
Still good.
Tampa Bay,
70%.
Miami, and Green Bay. So classic. Green Bay got me. So
Yeah.
classic. But yes, it's not too bad. Hopefully finish up strong. Yeah.
What did Josh finish up?
6-6.
Josh was 6-6 too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Horrible, man. Dude, okay, hold on. Before we end the show, I want to point out something. These are the quarterbacks some of the quarterbacks that won this weekend, so people don't think I'm the biggest idiot in the world. All right, Marcus Mariota, Bailey Zappi, Zach Wilson, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, Mitch Trubisky / Kenny Pickett, and Geno Smith. So, dude, if you're picking those guys to win, congratulations, dude. You saw something I did. But what the hell?
Oh, it was a Vegas won. Vegas won this weekend. And
they always do.
Yeah.
Somebody's paying for those lights. Yep.
Yeah.
It's us.
Yeah. If only my
That's the way it goes. All right. So look, we're going to be on again tomorrow, right after the Charger Broncos game. We're all excited about that. We all have the Chargers winning this game. I don't know what it is, but as confident as I am today that the Chargers are going to win on Monday night, I know as soon as I see those white on white Bronco uniforms with the blue helmets, I'm going to start getting nervous, just because we've seen it go wrong before. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. Can't wait. And then we hope that this basically takes off, because the Chiefs already have a loss, as Mario just told all of you. And that's big for us. And then they face Seattle before the bye week, another golden opportunity. Who knows? Seattle has surprised a lot of people. But again, the Chargers can go into the bye week at 5-2. Things are looking really good for the Bolts. So there you go. You guys agree?
Agree.
5-2. Okay. All right. There you go. So we'll be back tomorrow. Please make sure you tune in. Bolt City Podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Again, thanks for listening. Don't be afraid to participate. So we do a lot of things out there today on Twitter. If you disagree with us or agree with us, please interact. We appreciate it. You can find us right there. We'll talk to you in 24 hours, everybody. Again, for Josh Palais, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you in 24 hours.